Today I'm announcing that we have filed an additional 10 prosecutions of businesses who, after warnings, have failed to comply with the mayor's Safer at Home order.
That's L.A. City DA Mike Feuer announcing yesterday the prosecution, you notice, of 10 additional businesses. I guess businesses deemed non-essential. And first they were going to cut off their water and power. Well, first they were going to send ambassadors to these businesses.
Right.
People like Disney ambassadors with
to give them the what for, right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And apparently, I guess some things, or the way we characterize Mike Feuer, I said he gets into his comfort zone when he talks about prosecuting people.
Yeah.
I guess I upset a prosecutor who works for Mr. Feuer, and this would be Patrick on The Morning Answer. Brian and Jennifer. Hi, Patrick. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for the call. And, I'm sure we probably are going to I think we're going to probably disagree a bit, but
by the way,
thank you for your service to L.A. We appreciate it.
You've heard of social distancing? You ever gotten on the phone with someone and felt 6 feet apart? Go ahead, sir. Please, Patrick.
All right, well, I just wanted to point out first that Mr. Feuer is the city attorney in Los Angeles. The city attorney is charged with prosecuting criminal misdemeanors, which I have done for 25 years.
I bet. Now, okay,
so
yeah.
I don't understand, there is a point in time where you go out, you warn people, they're in violation of an ordinance, and they refuse to comply. Then the only real opportunity, or the only real avenue they leave open to us, is to begin criminal prosecution.
So, Patrick, is your office arresting homeless people or prosecuting homeless people for not following the orders of Eric Garcetti?
First of all, I work in a specific function. I'm a line deputy. I'm in court every day. To my knowledge, we prosecute homeless people when they violate laws regarding domestic
Well, by
violence.
being out on the street without a face covering, they're violating laws. Patrick, I think, and I'm glad you called,
I don't think
because I think the inequity here is the problem that frustrates me, because you have a city that is saying to businesses who are trying to stay alive, don't be in business. Okay, well, there's a constitutional issue for the city to impose that on people and take away their freedoms, I believe. I don't think that it's necessarily constitutional, but you can't have one set of laws for business owners and another set of laws for people who are out there on the street. It's the same message that our local governments are sending to us when they arrest business owners, yet they're letting criminals out of jail early because they don't want them to get the coronavirus. You can understand how that seems a bit unfair to residents, right?
Again, I'd remind you, I've been a prosecutor for 25 years.
All right, I'd remind you that...
I've been one for 25 seconds, Patrick.
Hold on, Patrick. There's a few... Hold on, sir. Counselor, since you work for us, there are a few questions our listeners probably deserve answers to. So, as the guy...
Again, you're putting me in an uncomfortable position.
No, you're okay. You don't...
The entire office.
No, you're not speaking for the office. You're speaking for a guy on the phone named Pat. Look,
Brian always goes with the defendant. I mean, you have to understand,
I'm the
Patrick,
liberal.
He's the liberal. He always goes for the defendant no matter what they do.
I listen to you guys every morning.
All right,
and we thank you.
So here we go. Permission, Your Honor, to approach the prosecutor. Permission to approach?
Permission granted.
Judge Horn. Counselor, you said that these businesses that are deemed non-essential, they're opening up and they're visited. How many times are they visited before the city attorney proceeds with prosecution? How many times? And who is it that shows up, may I ask?
Again, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to plead. That's outside of the purview of what I do for the office.
You have you have no idea how
I don't.
Let me ask a question first.
I don't.
Let me ask. Hold on. I'm just asking you. I'm asking you, sir.
We actually love you, Patrick.
We do love you.
I just have lots of pressing questions.
I just want to know how many times the business is visited, typically before prosecution begins. It's a fair question.
I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Do you have an idea?
I know they're visited.
They're visited maybe once?
Maybe once, maybe more. I really don't know.
What happened to
because, again, I'm not charged with doing this.
I understand that. But what happened to the plan to cut off their water and power? Does that happen first before they're prosecuted?
To my understanding, it is happening.
It is happening.
Again, not having personally prosecuted any of these cases, because we do a wide variety of misdemeanors, from drunk driving to domestic violence. I have not been assigned. There are certain deputy city attorneys assigned to handle these ordinance violations.
I'm just saying, if you could, Patrick, I think one of the things that would be awfully nice for the mayor or for the district attorney to come out and talk about is just making it feel like there is the same set of laws for everybody. Because I think the good, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, the business owners in the city, are really struggling. And to have people come out and kind of say, well, we have no other option but to prosecute. Meanwhile, they're letting homeless people wander the streets and not prosecute them. It just doesn't seem to be all that fair. And I think for a message, look, I don't think we need to be playing politics right now at all. And in fact, I've said before, I think Mayor Garcetti's been doing a pretty good job in managing all of this. But we have to be able to feel like everything is being treated equal and that people aren't working against us in a time when things are really difficult and challenging. And I think that's been missing a little bit in the messaging.
And we all know, sir, and we're going to give you the last word for sure, Pat. You'll have the last word. We all know, and we're thankful for your call. We've had some fun with you, but it's important. We know that if somebody doesn't pay their rent, the sheriff can come and padlock the door, and they can't get into their residence. What you asked our screener, it's up on the screen, what would Brian and Jennifer suggest we do instead of prosecuting? How about padlocking the business door? Because you have people suffering who are without income, and now they have to pay for legal defenses because LA City's going after them in the city attorney's office. Wouldn't that be a reasonable kind of middle ground?
Well, I agree with you. There needs to be middle ground. I do think, and again, I haven't prosecuted these cases personally, but I do think from what I understand is there is a variety of options given to business owners who are not obeying the ordinance, which is a tiny minority. The vast majority of business owners, even though it hurts them, they're working and obeying the ordinance.
Can I ask you one more question, Patrick?
Of course you may.
Since you brought it up, do you work more with domestic violence?
I actually work. I'm a misdemeanor prosecutor. I'm a line deputy, so I handle all variety of misdemeanors, including domestic violence.
I was just curious because we have heard a lot of messaging that those calls on domestic violence are down because of social distancing. So, in a totally unrelated question, I would have: is that something that's concerning to city officials? Or are they thinking this is going on now and just not being reported, or what have you heard in that respect?
It is concerning, and yes, we are afraid that people are out there in a dangerous situation, and because of this pandemic, they don't really know what to do. We would urge them to call. There are still resources available to people.
Yes.
Get them out of that bad situation.
I want to thank you, Counselor, for a great call. I'll say it, Pat. I want to thank you. You're a great guy, and you made your points well. And I know you. Look, my dad was a cop. He had a tough job sometimes in New York too. So we thank you for listening.
And if you ever need Whitman and Horn to come argue something with you,
no, never call me from that office. Never call me from home.
Scared. You can call me.
Well, thank you both very much, and I do enjoy your program every morning.
Thank you, my friend. And Judge Horn, the case is dismissed here?
Case is dismissed.
All right. Well, thank you. As the litigants...
But, Patrick, you need to say 10 Hail Marys.
You need to explain the way I nailed you right there with the padlocking of the door. As the litigants make their way out of the courtroom, we'll go to Harvey Levin, who's outside here at the People's Court.
We got him in a couple of gotchas.
Right? I thought you were going to say...
That's what I'm saying. We're a couple of bulldogs.
I thought you were going to say, why don't we take these non-essential business owners and shove IV medications in them like you want for the homeless. I thought you were going
Stop it.
with them there. So, morning answer, Brian and Jen standing up for you here.
I'll fight for you like Mike Bogus.
I'm Bogus Klowski. I'm Brian C. Jennifer. We fight for you as the morning answer continues.